Hey, good morning everybody, and welcome to the vlog. I hope the start of your day is incredible, or whatever time you happen to be watching. Remember yesterday when I went to Ohio? If you didn't see that, I'm going to put a card right here. You definitely want to check that video out. Went to a really cool pet shop called Scales and Tails of Ohio. Well, I had mentioned I wanted to get a bunch of stuff. Well, the truth was, I did go on a little shopping spree before we left, and guess what? I want to show you what I got today. And I know Christmas was just the other day, but I've got 2 boxes of joy. I tell you, I am so excited about these 2 boxes of snakes right here because they're really weird, stuff you don't see very often, and I am just stoked on it. I showed Lori, and Lori was like, that's a lot more snakes than you said you were going to get. I got over to Scales and Tails of Ohio, and I was just like, I got away from myself. Just so cool. I just like, when am I going to ever get a chance to see this stuff, right? Well, this particular animal here is just actually a mangrove snake. Now, you guys know that we produce mangroves, but we actually produce what they call Dendrophila melanota. These are actually the Dendrophila, which is basically the real mangrove snakes. And the real difference is that they have banding all the way across them, whereas the melanota, the banding stops and actually there's a black kind of stripe down its back. Both look very similar, just subspecies of one another. But, you know, the fact is I didn't just want to get regular mangrove snakes. These are actually very special mangrove snakes because they are double heterozygous for both caramel albino and axanthic. Now, you know that the mangrove snakes are jet black with that yellow banding. Well, these are actually jet black with white banding when they're axanthic, and then the caramels are actually a T positive or tyrosine positive albino. So I'm super excited that maybe in 2 years we might be able to breed these and possibly produce the first double recessive caramel axanthic, which would be a caramel snow mangrove snake. How crazy would that be? I don't know what it's going to look like because the caramel is kind of a purpley with yellow. Would it be purple with white? I'm not sure, but nevertheless, these guys are little babies. I just picked up a couple of them, and I'm really excited about those guys. Again, they're going to be so cool, and I love all that stuff. And you got to remember that when it comes to mangroves, and really what they would call the boega, which is the genus of all of the cat-eyed snakes, basically, you know, captive breeding has only been going on for a very short period of time, so we're in the very, very beginning stages of what the future is. And yes, these guys are mildly rear-fanged venomous, but the truth is they're not really bad. I'm not saying these are going to be in a pet shop one day, but I do think that collectors are going to want to collect these a lot more in the coming years because they are absolutely wonderful. And I wanted to show you the caramel albino. That's right, I picked up a little caramel albino too. Now, there's not too many caramel albinos out there, so it was a really rare time that I could potentially own one of these guys. And this is a little male caramel albino. You may remember that we thought we hatched one of these or something very similar last year, but unfortunately it just didn't make it. It hatched out, it was real weak, and the fact is it may not have been a caramel albino at all. It might have just hatched out weak and didn't have the pigmentation because there was something wrong in the egg. This is actually a recessive caramel albino mangrove snake. And again, this is a little boy. Look at how cute that thing is. And again, the thing is, once they get to this size, they're really easy to care for. Typically eat pinkies and stuff like that. When they're little babies, it's a little bit tricky, but we've worked the last 4 or 5 years really hard at trying to figure out how to do it, and our success rate has went up to where we're at like 99% success rate getting babies to eat. So that is pretty exciting. So a little caramel albino male to go into some of the double heads and some other things like that down the road. And again, this is the Dendrophila, so this is the mangrove snake, not the melanota. So nevertheless, absolutely wonderful snake, and I am so excited to have this in the collection. And again, there are so many snakes in the shipment that I guess it's not a shipment, we picked it up, but so many snakes that they were like dream snakes of mine, you know, things that I was just like, oh my gosh, I never thought I would even own one of these, and this one certainly is one of them. Again, another boega, so again, the same genus as a mangrove, but look at this. This is what they would call a green-headed cat-eyed snake, but this is actually a boega sienna, and unbelievable. I mean, I've seen so many pictures of these on Instagram. They look like little vipers, you know, they look like they'd be so venomous. The truth is, again, all these are Southeast Asian snakes. These guys will live in the mountains, sometimes a little bit lower, but definitely a kind of more forest-dwelling animal, so they need to be kept pretty humid. It's unbelievable, and again, they're born so teeny tiny, it's so funny, but the good news about this particular species is that they typically will take pinkies pretty readily, so that's really good. And as they get older, unfortunately, that orange body turns kind of green, so they become almost like a unicolored green animal, but as a baby, ooh, doggy, take a look at that monkey right there. It seems so fragile, but it's still absolutely incredible. And again, these are all captive born, so you know the import stuff doesn't do very well. That's the downside. A lot of the Boega come in as imports, whether it's mangroves or melanotas or even the green-headed snakes like this will come in wild caught, and typically they don't do real well. Heavily parasitized, lots of stress during shipment and stuff like that. So I want to stay away from all of that, but nevertheless, I've been dreaming about having a little Sienia for a long time, and finally we have one. That thing is a ripper. And then another Boega that is actually another mangrove. So another Boega dendrophila, but this is another subspecies, is the Salawasis or the Genocinctus. And oh my goodness, look at that snake right there. Crazy, just the heavy banding of yellow. So many more bands than the normal, either melanota or dendrophila. And then they have kind of that orange-red banding going on. Now, what's interesting about this, I'm not gonna lie to you, I would love that to stay just like that, right? But so many animals go through a color change, what they would call an octogenic color change. This is no different, and it's a really cool color change. Although I really would love to see an adult this color. The fact is these turn jet black. That's right. I mean, really glossy black. I mean, much like, again, a indigo snake or a Mexican black king snake or a black milk snake. But these guys are really cool because they're jet black, but they got that big head on them that makes them look really cool. I remember seeing my first adult Salawasi, that jet black one, and I was in love. And then when I saw that the babies were patterned like this, I was like, are you kidding me right now? This thing is incredible. So we picked up a pair of these guys, and again, unbelievable. It'll probably take about a year before they go through that octogenic color change, but my goodness, these things are ridiculous, and I'll take you guys along on the entire journey. And some of these will be at BHB long term, and some of these will eventually make their way to the Reptarium as really cool display animals, right? But for now, these guys will all go to BHB, get cared for and raised up, but oh my goodness. I mean, you can see how I was so excited. I mean, just what I've just showed you right now is something that I never thought I would get in one shipment at all, let alone I still have a whole nother box of snakes that I picked up that are just so special too. So those are the Boega, those are the mangroves, that's what I picked up there. Now let's move on to some other snakes. Now for you long-term vlog viewers, you may remember a while ago I had what was called a puffing snake, but it came out of the wild, and these guys rarely are bred in captivity. They are bred in captivity, but not very commonly. And so I got a big adult male puffing snake, and look at this right here. See how it puffs its neck up as a threat display, and it'll actually just blow its neck up, and sometimes it'll get into an S form and kind of strike out. Really amazing animals, but again, the wild caught, just like the mangroves, don't do that well. We had it for about a year and a half, and we babied it as much as we possibly could, but it turned out that we lost the animal. So when I had the opportunity to pick up a baby captive-born puffing snake, I was all about that. I mean, just take a look at this little monkey here. Now, as a baby, it's kind of that gray with the little brown and black markings. This is going to get nice and yellow and huge contrast, and it's going to be one of the largest colubrid snakes in all of the Americas, getting up to 10 foot long. That's right, this little puffing snake here can one day get up to 10 foot long. And again, the display on these guys when you pull them out is really quite amazing. And again, they'll puff that neck up, they'll just act like they're big, and that's again a threat display that just says, hey, I'm big, don't mess with me, don't muck with me, because I'm going to bite you. But the fact is, these guys aren't venomous, they're not rear-fanged, they're just a colubrid snake, but they are absolutely wonderful. And I'm telling you what, in a year from now, this thing is going to be ridiculous looking, and again, eventually up to 10 foot long. No doubt this animal is going on display here at the Reptarium here in the next year or so. Next up are these little monkeys right here. These are actually Dynadons, which are actually like sometimes called a wolf snake or a red banded snake, and these are the ones, remember the albinos that I got just a couple weeks ago? And of course, these are the little albinos. Again, they're chilling out a little bit, but this one's a little monkey. He's trying to bite me a little bit, which is completely fine. What is wrong with you? They are cool, and I tell you, since working with these the last little bit, I have fallen in love with them. One of the coolest albino snakes I think I've ever worked with, but they definitely can get a little bit hyper, but as I've been working with them, they've been chilling out a little bit more. But look at how crazy cool these guys are. And those little monkeys were feisty too, right? Well, the fact is that I had the opportunity to pick up hypo ones. So these are hypos, and those of course were albinos. Unbelievably cool snakes. Since I've been working with the albinos the last maybe 3 weeks or so, I have fallen in love with them. And by the way, they have mellowed out. I mean, these guys are really bitey and nippy at this size, but the bigger albinos have really chilled out. They'll still bite now and then, but compared to when we first got them, they have done really well. Just a very unusual snake. Again, these guys come from kind of the Russia area into China, even in Mongolia and stuff like that, and so it's kind of an interesting common snake over there, to be quite frank, but in captivity, these mutations are very rare. Hypomelanistic, just look at the pink. I mean, what the heck? It's pink and kind of gray. That is absolutely gorgeous. And then again, the albino. So what I'm thinking is I can eventually breed albino to hypo and get what they call hybinos, which should be even more interesting. I just figured, you know, again, snakes that I've never even seen anyone have before. Why not get them? Why not mess with them? And hopefully produce some really cool stuff here in 2 or 3 years. They are absolutely incredible. And I'm telling you what, these guys are hardy. Those albinos eat every single time, and I'm sure these guys will too. And then the last couple snakes I got were actually what they called Dynadons rat snakes, or sometimes called steppe rat snakes. Remember the melanistic ones that I got a couple weeks ago? And these are those melanistic Dynadons or steppe rat snakes. I mean, I think that they're really cool. Again, I've always been really partial to dark animals, and they just got that kind of cool, like, overall look to them. Just a weird snake. Again, a little bit like a bull snake-ish, a little garter snake-ish, a little rat snake-ish. It's got a lot of weird things in it. Just a really unusual snake, and again, an animal I think that people are going to love in the future. Well, these are called super reds, and you can certainly see why they're called super reds. Unbelievable. Just a really cool rat snake. I've loved these guys for a long, long time. So it's cool that not only have I been able to get some Dynadon rat snakes, but I've been able to get some mutations that are really incredible. Now, there are some albinos being produced by these. I don't have them available to me now, but hopefully next year maybe I can get some albino Dynadons and really start mixing the albino with the super reds, with the melanistics to produce snows, all kinds of stuff. And the thing that's interesting about these, much like those wolf snakes I just showed you, these guys are from really harsh areas as well, like Russia, Mongolia, Eastern China, stuff like that. And this is the most interesting thing I've ever heard about a snake. Believe it or not, you know, most snakes lay eggs. They typically take about 60 to 65 days to hatch, depending on the species. Believe it or not, mangrove snakes can take 90 to 115 days to hatch, which is crazy. Well, these guys, because they come from a very harsh area where the weather is bad, there's not a lot of time to hatch, all kinds of different things. Believe it or not, these guys will lay their eggs and they will hatch sometimes as little as 12 days, usually about 15 days. And what basically is happening is when that female gets gravid, rather than laying the eggs and letting the eggs incubate in a nesting spot, it actually kind of incubate in their belly for a while, which doesn't happen with any other snakes like this, right? Now, there's some live bearing, like chameleons, that do that in like a soft shell, and they incubate the entire time, gestate the entire time, and then actually will lay live babies, right? Not actual live babies, but actually eggs that were incubated in the belly. But when it comes to snakes, the Dynadon rat snakes are the only ones that do this. And again, a hatch rate of 12 to 15 days. How crazy is that? To have a clutch of eggs and 2 weeks later, you've got babies. That is unheard of with snakes, and these guys will do it. So I think that the Dynadon rat snakes or the steppe rat snakes are going to be something that are going to be pretty popular in the future. I think the only reason they're not popular now is that no one really knows about them, and even I didn't know much about them until recently, and I love them. I mean, look at how crazy that is, right? I mean, guys, what do you think? I mean, this is like something that I would have taken me 10 years to get together a decade ago. The fact that I was able to get all these animals just with one trip to Cleveland, how freaking awesome is that? So now it's time to take him over and talk to Ashley and get these all set up. The truth is, she's already been taking care of a bunch of Boega, and they're basically the same care there, as well as the Dynadons and the wolf snake. So she pretty much is good to go. The only animal I'm going to have to really talk to her about is the puffing snake. Basically set up like any colubrid, but they really don't typically drink out of a water dish, so you need to spray them daily so they'll kind of drink the dew. But besides that, just getting these things set up just like she does should be really good to go. I cannot wait to get them going and get their first meal into them within a couple days. And there you guys have it. I mean, how awesome is that? Tell me down below what animal you thought was the coolest of all of these guys. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, I know Christmas just passed, but this was my Christmas for sure. This was absolutely amazing. Hope that you enjoyed it. If you did and you like unboxing, here's a playlist of unboxing videos that you can go on all over the place. If you could do me a favor right up here, hit this podcast subscription. We do it about 3 times a week. I think you'll like it. On this side, I hope you're subscribed to this vlog channel. Help us get to 3 million. We're getting there pretty close. Turn your post notifications on. Have an absolutely wonderful day. Remember, be kind to someone, and I promise I'll see you tomorrow.